Next on Wheels, we go for a ride in a red 69 Vette. As American cars go, you don't get any more iconic than a red Corvette. It's a C3, 1969, right, Gary?
Yes, 1969.
And you've had this car how long?
About 14 years.
Man, time does fly, doesn't it?
Yeah, it does, especially when you're driving a Corvette.
Well, what's neat about this car is in the realm of all the big block, 4-speed, steep gear cars, this car was ordered more as, I would call it a touring car. Long gears, base small block automatic. What exactly was the original specs on this car?
This car is it's a 300 horse 350. It's the first year for a 350 in a Corvette. So it was a 350, 300 horse turbo 400. This car had air conditioning, power steering, all those kind of options. But this car was also ordered with manual brakes. So it has manual 4-wheel disc brakes, which is a little odd. I actually like it. It's a much better road feel than having a real touchy, you know.
Yeah. Well, and as much as vacuum is at a premium in a Corvette, I would imagine a savvy salesman probably would have told somebody, hey, you're going to be a lot happier long run with manual brakes.
Probably. And again, especially if you had a big block or even 350 horse cars with a little bit bigger cam in them, obviously they're not going to produce as much vacuum. And, you know, there's canisters all over this thing, but still, you still have to produce it to store it. So.
Yeah, there's just so many components that are vacuum operated in a Corvette.
Yeah.
And there's just so many idiosyncrasies to a Vette too, which we found out through filming with this car. The fact that it's fiberglass, we've had endless audio issues.
Yeah.
So this is actually like take 8,000.
Yeah.
just in full disclosure to your viewers, we do this for you. We do it because we love you.
Yeah.
And we like driving these cars.
Yeah, it's fun to drive around. So if I have to drive this car around a little bit more, it's not the end of the world.
Yeah. Yeah. Now, one thing I love about this car is it's almost a chameleon of sorts in that you go to a cruise night and you park it next to a bright red car and it looks orange.
Yeah.
And likewise, if you park it next to an orange car, it looks bright red.
Yeah.
But that wasn't the original color.
No, this car has been repainted twice. The original color is Riverside Gold, which is kind of an oddity. It's the rarest color in 69. It's a one-year-only color. They didn't sell a lot of them that color. It's kind of not the greatest looking of golds. It kind of has a little more of a greenish, almost dull cast to it.
Yeah.
But it is a rare color. They don't even have the production numbers on it. That's kind of how rare it was as a color. So, you know, this car being optioned the way it is, Riverside Gold, if you extrapolate the numbers out of it and come up with the percentages, and again, they're guesstimates because you don't have the exact numbers on the color, we did it, there's less than 10 cars, probably 5 to 10 cars is what it came out as, and it could even be less than that.
Pretty low number, but as with so many things we've talked about, rarity does not equal tremendous value.
No.
Now, if it was an L88 car in that color, super rare.
Yeah, that's
restore it.
That's a different story.
But being a, you know, a base car, and that still has plenty of value being a 69 Corvette. Don't, you know,
Yeah.
don't get me wrong. But it's days like this, you know, it's going to get up to 100 degrees out today. And we are driving around, this thing's running, what, 160, 170?
About 165 or so.
Yeah. And with, especially with Corvettes, you got to make sure the air dam is there, because that directs air up into the radiator, and that radiator leans back so much, and it has a really long shroud, and you have to have that shroud in place, and then it will take care of itself. But if you don't, you're going to have endless heating problems.
If you start changing from that formula, it's real easy for it to start getting a little out of control. They make a sealant kit with like rubber seals in that to seal off the shroud to the core support, and that does make a difference because it forces more air through the shroud.
Yeah.
You know, and if you keep the large clutch fan on it that came stock, this has a 160 thermostat on it. They do have an overflow tank. You want to make sure that that works because it pulls and puts into it and takes
Right.
it out. And that makes a big difference too. But you know, these cars, they don't have a lot of frontal area, so it's not like you have this big grill up front that's pulling all this air in. So you're correct.
It's not like the front end of a 57 Chevy.
Yeah, you want to keep that spoiler down there because there are actually holes underneath the front end that help pull that air up, you know, along with the front of the vehicle. So when you get most of the air coming up over the top and not as much going underneath or through it, they do have a tendency to get a little bit warm, especially if you drive it at relatively high speeds. You get on the freeway and the temperature will actually go up. You get off the freeway and drive normal speeds around town and they cool right back down. So this car's actually, what's funny is in the configuration that it's in, which would be from the factory, it probably runs a little cooler just around town almost and in traffic than it would on higher freeway speeds. At like the way freeway speeds are now at like 75 or 80, the car actually starts to get a little bit warmer. And it's just one of those weird little, like I said, idiosyncrasies with driving a Corvette.
Yeah. Well, this particular generation of Corvette really, to me, is kind of my favorite. I think the C1s and C2s are beautiful. C1s are not made for tall people.
No, they're
C2s, you sit really straight up and down, really on the floor. So it tends to kick your knees out, which makes your hips sore after a while.
Yeah.
On these, we're both fairly tall. You can stretch your legs out, you're seated back. It's almost like you're in the cockpit of an airplane. I mean, it's really a neat feeling. You're so far back.
Yeah, the seat back angle on these is pretty steep, so you do lay back more. You get that feeling that you are, like I said, laying kind of in the fighter. And then with the long nose, the way you see the top, the height of the door here, where you have your arm out. For a bigger guy, it's like a perfect armrest. If you're a little shorter, I could see where it would be a little tough, where your arm would be up. But for guys our size, you know, this car is very comfortable for me to drive.
Very much so. You could take it on a trip just about anywhere, anytime. And the only complaint you're going to have is maybe your feet get warm. Due to the nature of where the exhaust runs on these, it does tend to get the footwell a little bit warm. But the view over the front end, over these fenders, is just so dramatic. But you lose sight of the front end, and I can perfectly understand now why so many of these have dinged up front bumpers.
Oh yeah,
because you just don't know where it's at.
Yeah, you get a little farther past half the hood and the top of the fenders, and it just disappears.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of room. There's still a lot of real estate up front there.
Oh yeah.
So it's very easy to bump into things, and people do that, you know. So that you do see a lot of them with the spoilers broken off. You see a lot of them with the front bumper all scratched or bent up. And this one's no exception.
Yeah, it's just one of those things you accept that I want a Corvette and I'm going to have to learn how to drive it.
Yeah.
Because of that. And it's the case with new Vettes.
Oh yeah, with anything of that, and especially a car designed like this, where at the time, you know, they weren't going to obviously go to a mid-engine type of platform. So to get the car as close to a 50-50 type of handling, this car's like, this year is like 51-49. So you've got 51% of the weight on the front, 49 to the back, which is very good for a front engine type vehicle. But obviously you have, you know, a situation where you're sitting so far back. We're sitting at the rear wheels, and it's done to balance the car. But it is a unique look that takes a little getting used to, sitting back so far and having all that area out front.
And then you put a couple of 200-pound guys in, and you're starting to approach 50-50.
Yeah, you probably.
I mean, really.
Yeah.
Because the way you sit, right, basically on the back wheels.
Yeah. Probably with two people in it, because they probably figured that because they were used as race cars.
Yeah.
So to help some of that, they put the battery behind the driver's seat. That helps. So you've got all these things to try to get the balance correct. You put another person back here, they're probably going to handle it.
Probably puts it right where you need it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and that was, very likely engineered into the car.
Yeah. Yeah.
Once we have two people in here, it's going to be very close to optimal balance.
Yeah, and this car handles really well. And it has stock shocks, has a stock sway bar on the front. Doesn't even have a sway bar in the rear. You can make them handle really well. The thing I like about this car is that it does ride nice. Some of the big block cars, they have a tendency to ride a little harsh just because they have a little bit stronger spring in the back.
And they usually have a lot of rattles too, which this car doesn't, because it wasn't built with that excessive torque and the brutality of a 4-speed.
It hasn't been beat up. This car's, like we said initially, this car was probably bought and ordered as more of a touring car, as a driver, and that's what it still is to today. So the doors close nice, the T-tops don't leak, they don't squeak, it's a lot more solid.
The T-tops are really kind of a cool thing too, because there was a lot of convertible, Roadster Vettes ordered, but this gives you everything of the Roadster while still keeping that beautiful roof line.
Yeah,
that tunneled rear window, the way that C-pillar flows down into the quarter panel.
Yeah, it's a gorgeous design. And the other nice thing that's kind of one of those oddities of the early C3 cars is that the back window is removable.
Oh.
So you can remove the back window, and it makes for driving this car very, very nice on warm days, even if you don't take the top off. If you leave the tops on and you take the back window out, it pulls all the warm air out of here, and you get such a nice flow through here. Like I said, it's like having a truck with a sliding back window. So you get that ventilation, which really was a really good idea.
And in this car, as much as it gets driven, that's a perfect thing to have, really.
Yeah. Because
it gets used a lot in the summertime. And that was really the premise behind starting this show, is all about the joy of driving. And thankfully, this first season, we're really going to focus hard on Northern Nevada. Since we've had almost 30 years of hot August nights here, we have a very, very deep well of nice cars that guys have built themselves, and they drive a lot.
Yeah.
So you're going to see so many of them. They're not all hot rods, they're not all muscle cars. They're all kinds of different vehicles. There's trucks. Whatever is cool and is being used or is a great survivor, that's what's going to show up here.
And we have, a premier automotive driving event. Hot August Nights is one of those events that's unique to a lot of other, say, car shows that just like meet in a fairgrounds and everybody sits around, and you don't really get a chance to go out and drive your car. Hot August Nights is one of those events, kind of like the Woodward Cruise, that the main attraction is driving around. You drive from venue to venue, and you park for a while, maybe let your car cool off. But if you go out on the streets, there's cars driving everywhere.
I know, and it's a beautiful sight.
And that's one of the nice parts about up here, is the people that have a lot of these cars, they do use them. And we have nice enough weather up here that you can use them for probably at least 8 months out of the year.
No doubt. Absolutely no doubt. So keep an eye for all kinds of new cars that are going to be coming out soon. And mostly I just want to say, we do this for the fans of the show, so let us know what you want to see. Thanks for joining us here in this nice, beautiful 69 Vette. Thanks for taking a ride with us. And we'll be back in a couple of weeks, and you can take a ride in something else with us. Till then, get out in your car, drive. Use it. Use it. say the last time?
I don't know.
One thing and something else, isn't it?
I don't remember.
Yeah. All right. Want to go to Wings or BJ's?
Let's go to Wings. Oh, you know what? Let's go to BJ's. I haven't been in there in a long time. What the?